because it was like a 2:31 seed time for me. I was like in the mass start, and then I snuck my way into the elite corral on the start line. Blue Dot's the steepest route up down, pretty much just a scramble straight up one of the ridges on Eldon. If you're gonna be stupid, you gotta be tough. Yeah, it's one of my dad's favorite sayings.
All right, welcome everyone to our Meet the Team podcast. We have another special guest with us today. This is Adam Sjolund, so thank you for joining us today. For our listeners who are not familiar with you, can you give us a little introduction on who you are, where you come from, and what got you into running?
Yeah, I'm Adam. I live in Flagstaff, Arizona. Currently at NAU in grad school. Yeah, I started running when I was 9, 10 years old because my sister got recruited to the local track team, and so I just tagged along for fun. And yeah, I wound up running collegiately for University of Nevada, and then working my way down here and starting into trails and some road marathons and whatnot.
Right on. Are you from Arizona originally?
No, I'm from Seattle, Washington area originally.
And did you run in high school?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you do track, cross country?
Yeah, I ran track and cross country all the way through high school. Started when I was pretty young, and yeah, wasn't very good at all the other sports, so I kind of stuck with it.
What was your favorite distance?
The longest available for, yeah. So it was usually the 2 mile in high school, and then yeah, just 5K for cross country.
Right on. And you went to you said University of Nevada?
Yep. Yeah, UNR in Reno. So spent 4 years there.
How'd you like it in Reno?
I really like Reno. It's a great training location, and yeah, had some great teammates and great assistant coaches. So yeah, uh,
Did you
and
ever? Oh, sorry.
yeah, I just enjoyed my 4 years there for sure.
Did you ever get up to Tahoe to train?
Yeah, we ran up on the TRT pretty frequently, and then like on the incline flume pretty regularly for our like weekend long runs and whatnot.
It's a gorgeous place to run.
Yeah,
And then what are you studying right now at NEU?
I'm currently studying mechanical engineering, so in a PhD program here.
Awesome.
And before we get a little bit deeper, I did want to ask a question personally. I'm very interested in.
Yeah,
Read online about a beta fish named Kevin.
yeah,
Could you tell us a little bit about Kevin? I just saw a little blurb online about it, and I wanted to know a little more.
yeah. So in high school, I had me and my friend shared a locker. I think our freshman sophomore year, and he came up to me like right before the school year started and pitched me the idea of keeping a fish in our locker because we weren't really using it for anything else. And yeah, so he was a little bit of a like low-key celebrity at the school. Principal was on board with it. A couple teachers were there. They knew about it. Um, yeah, he got kicked out like a year or two later. But yeah, lived like 4 or 5 years. He was a real trooper. So yeah.
Dang, right on. Love it.
That's awesome. So you ran cross country at University of Nevada.
hmm
Then when did you start getting into more like marathon distance?
Pretty early on. During COVID, we had one of my teammates at Nevada, Tierney Wolfgram. She wanted to set the US junior record for the marathon. So we spent that whole fall of 2020, me and a handful of other teammates were training with her and like getting ready to pace her. So paced her along to a 2:31, and then yeah, that was my first road marathon. And then my assistant coach the first 3 years at Nevada was MK Sullivan, who
Oh,
yeah, just
right on.
got the golden ticket at Black Canyon, back in February. So she was definitely, a strong influence of, recommending marathons and ultras and whatnot.
Your your first marathon was CIM, is that correct?
Yeah, that was the first one I raced.
Okay. And then I guess
Yep.
going back to the previous one that you mentioned that you paced at. So
hmm
that was like a specific event to break the women's under 20, under 19 record, is that correct?
Yeah, it was. It was just like a really small, we just had pretty much the three of us running and pacing along our teammate, in the middle of like COVID lockdown, pretty much.
Oh,
So,
got
That's
it.
cool.
yeah,
Was
yeah.
that
It's like
just
an
like
unofficial.
on a track?
It was like down on the river pathway in Sacramento.
Got it.
So, yeah.
Ah, super
That's
cool.
cool.
That's a cool way to get into it.
hmm Yeah.
Can you go into a little bit of detail on your marathon debut at the Chicago Marathon?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was my senior year of college at Nevada, and I just wrapped up the cross country season. I was a little bit pissed off after my regionals race,
Mm.
and CIM is was just over the hill from us, from Reno. It's like a 2-hour drive. And from that first marathon pacing Tierney, I'd known some of the like organizers and race directors, with Run SRA, and so had a connection in there, and I was able to get an entry into CIM. It wasn't like an elite entry because it was like a 2:31 seed time for me. So I was like in the mass start, and then I snuck my way into the elite corral on the start line, and I didn't have bottles or anything, so I was just, yeah, there's a guy that I was running with who was like passing me his bottles once he had finished with them.
Dang.
Yeah, and yeah, I had like no preparation for it, but it worked out really well, and I was able to snag a 2:16 and qualify for the trials. So
So no preparation, no bottles, no nothing, and you qualified for the Olympic trials. That's pretty
yeah,
impressive.
yeah. So yeah, I tried to recreate that magic a couple of times after, and it didn't quite get there. So
Were you expecting that for your first marathon?
I was going into that race like pretty confident in my fitness, and I did about like two marathon specific workouts that after those I was feeling pretty confident in like, um my ability to run something around that time, on a good day. But yeah, I just went into that race and just kind of didn't look at my watch, just ran by feel for the first, 18 miles, and yeah, worked out really well.
Were there any I guess it wouldn't be a blow up, but did you have any fall off because of like lack of water, lack of nutrition?
Oh yeah, the last like 6 miles were pretty bad. I mean I went through halfway on like 2:13 pace, and yeah, so I hung on, but it was a pretty bad struggle the like last few miles to the finish.
Dang.
Yeah.
And I'd also want to point out that you were the youngest qualifier for that race.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool too.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people stupid enough to try that at 22, so
So since then, have you PR'd in the marathon again, or
no, I ran another marathon, about a year later, and ran like 2:17 mid, and then yeah, I haven't PR'd since then.
do you have any goals to go back to the marathon?
I think I would like to. We'll see what the standard winds up being for 2028, but yeah, I'd like to get back into it eventually and try to be a fast boy for a little bit.
So, like, what spurred your transition to ultra running and trails?
I was like a very high mileage athlete my whole time through college. And so the combination of that and then having MK as my coach, um, there's a local 50K and 50 miler based in Reno, the Silver State
Yep.
50/50. And so my junior year of college, I just decided like I wanted to try my hand at a 50K and see how that would feel. And, there being that opportunity for a really great race right in my backyard was a pretty strong draw. So that was my first foray into the ultra field.
And then you ran the 50K Mountain World Champs. Is that correct? In 2023?
The NACAC champs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like North America and Caribbean.
Got it. What
hmm
so what inspired you to take that on?
I got emailed by a friend who was like had some connections to the committee and whatnot, and they were doing all resume spots for that race. So he was basically like, "Hey, there's a chance to throw on a US kit and go to Saskatchewan for this race." Which, yeah, I mean, I'd never been to Saskatchewan. Can't say I really have bold plans to in the future, but yeah, it was a cool race and great experience.
I mean, and you pulled off second place. Is that correct?
I did, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how that day went for you out there?
Yeah, that was I was kind of more trained for the marathons, like a road marathon at the time. And um, you think of Saskatchewan as just like perfectly flat and no hills. And this was about the most technical up down race that I'd ran uh like up until that point. I think it had probably 8,000 feet of climbing or so. And no more than like 500 feet from top to bottom. So just a lot of short, punchy little climbs. And yeah, I went out pretty hard. Had a little struggle bus for the middle, like 10 miles or so, and then started to rally once it got hot towards the end. And yeah, was able to just kind of trudge my way through and like claw back into second place.
Did that kind of inspire you to take on some of the more verti races that you've done, like Speed Goat? Was that kind of the catalyst for it?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I haven't ran Speed
Oh,
Goat,
sorry. Which one am I thinking here? Maybe I'm
but
thinking Mammoth.
oh yeah. No, honestly, most of my races have just been kind of like following the opportunities. So it's like if
Gotcha.
I can get free entry somewhere, and figure out a way to get there, then yeah, I'm definitely tempted to race it. So.
Right on.
Right on, yeah. What does your training look like when you're doing more ultras versus marathon? What are those kind of challenges with ultra running training versus marathon?
It's definitely been like something for me to get used to. I'm not really like structuring my training right now. I got injured like last summer. Gave myself a nice little sacral stress reaction.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, it took like 4 months pretty much off of physical activity, and then the last, through the fall and then into this spring has just been trying to get my feet back onto me and like figure out what's fun again. So,
How's how's the trail running community in Flagstaff? I see you do run with quite a few other people. I see you've also been hitting Blue Dot
yeah,
pretty frequently lately.
Which, for
I have.
those that don't know what Blue Dot is, can you explain it a little bit?
Yeah, so Mount Eldon is kind of the local hill for Flagstaff, and Blue Dot's the steepest route up down. Pretty much just a scramble straight up one of the ridges on Eldon. So yeah, I mean it's the start of the trail is like a mile and a half from my house. So
Nice.
the last couple of weeks I've been hitting that pretty regularly.
And you just recently got seventh all time on the climb. Is that right?
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah.
Stout. I
For
know.
Yeah.
for the
That's
stuff that's on Strava. Yeah.
Do you use Strava segments as a gauge? Do you use that for training, or do you more base your training routes in like cross country style tempo runs, that kind of thing?
It varies. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I think the segments are a great tool for the um, the trail specific stuff of like, hey, how does this stack up against, some of the best guys, especially for Flagstaff. There's a lot
Right.
of really strong runners that have passed through here and hammered these trails at some point or another. So,
Yeah, I feel like
um,
getting any point on a segment in Flagstaff is a really big accomplishment. So,
yeah, trying to get any CRs here is yeah, damn near impossible. So,
And so keeping on your training, you mentioned that you are currently a PhD student.
yeah.
How do you balance that?
Uh, I mean, it's a juggling act for sure. I think my first year here, that sacral injury was kind of a symptom of like not really balancing it super well and overtraining through things. But yeah, right now for me, like getting away from structured workouts and just kind of squeezing things in when I can, and when I have the energy to, is seems to be the most enjoyable and like fruitful training route for me right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
let's dive into some of your races that you've completed this year and last year. I think your most recent one was the Big Alta a
Mm.
week ago.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us how that went and a little rundown of what the race looked like for you?
Yeah, that is a fun race. Probably the most fun that I've had like out on a course in the last 2 years or so. Um, yeah, I mean, I got my ass kicked pretty hard. It's a really tough course. Just like all up, down, and unrelenting. So went out pretty strong, and there's a pack of like six guys, seven guys, I think, through the first aid station. And so we were pushing pretty good up that first climb, and then I got dropped on the first descent, and then it was just kind of fighting positions the rest of the day, and yeah, just suffering up and down all those climbs. So
Yeah, totally. I saw David Roche put out his video recap from the Big Alta, and I actually saw you in a lot of those first shots. Pretty cool.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, I was hanging, running right on his heels through that first climb, and then yeah, him and the other leaders took off on that second climb. So they were off running a different race for me. So
I mean, placing six is still incredible with how many fast runners there were at that race. So,
stacked.
yeah.
yeah, yeah, I was pretty happy with the result for sure.
What were your goals going into it? Did you have a time goal? Was it more you're looking to race the competition?
Yeah, I think for me it was more just trying to like have a good day
Yep.
and enjoy it.
Yep.
So yeah, I felt like I had a pretty solid day for my legs and like was able to stay engaged for the most part mentally, which it's kind of been a while since I've had a race like that. So
Yeah, see, interesting course with the amount of vert, and then but it looked really smooth, and it also
yeah,
looked very
yeah,
foggy.
yeah, it was definitely foggy up at the top, and yeah, it is. It's tough because the whole course is like super runnable. But at least for me, and I think pretty much everyone but Eli on that day, it was you felt pretty terrible by the end. So you're,
Because you
you're
could
going
really
up the
like,
hills and it's like, oh, this is so runnable, and I feel absolutely awful right now. So
yeah, that's. I mean, I feel like intimidated by that course because it's so runnable. At the same time, like 8,000 feet of vert,
yeah,
a lot to
yeah,
run.
yeah, it was a tough one. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to go back and give it another shot now that I kind of know what to expect out there.
Are you feeling recovered?
Yeah, I was feeling pretty good within a few days of the race, surprisingly.
That's a
So
good sign.
Sweet.
yeah.
And then prior to that, you also ran Black Canyon, right? And
Well,
also
yeah,
Mammoth in
ran
September.
ran would be a stretch for what that day was, but I did finish it. So
I mean,
What happened at Black Canyon?
yeah.
I blew up pretty spectacularly in the second half. So I think I went through the first 50K in like 3:35, 3:40, and I think the second 50K took me like 6.5, 7 hours. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of walking out there in the second half of the race.
Was it the heat? What did it?
I think, yeah, partially like I just fueling's never been my strong suit, so I started having some stomach issues right around 45K, and then it was just like cramping and trying to get stuff down pretty much all the way home. So legs were pretty shattered for the rest of the day, but yeah,
Was that your longest distance run so
it
far?
was.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, yep.
Is that a distance you think you'll be coming back to?
I'm not sure like short term
Yep.
necessarily. I can't say I had a lot of fun out there.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I mean it's like I'd love to figure it out and kind of put those pieces together to like have a good 100K, but yeah, it's really tough to run a really competitive 100K, especially if your stomach's not in it. Like it's
Yep.
the level of performance right now, it's just not going to happen. So.
Did you learn a that like a different fueling strategy that you would try for a next race?
Not necess I mean, I learned like some things that don't work, but I don't know that I
Sounds good.
figured out something that
Got to
does.
narrow it
Yeah.
down at least.
Yeah.
Um, are you? I did see on Ultra sign up. You're currently signed up for Gorge 100K.
No, I don't have anything else that I'm signed up for right
Oh, okay.
now.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
Yep.
Do you have anything else on the horizon? Anything you've been eyeing up?
I'm planning to hike the PCT this summer.
No, no
So
kidding.
Oh,
that's my big adventure. So yeah, not any like races on the calendar for right now, but just a lot of walking.
Is that going to be your first like long distance through hike?
Yeah, I've never done anything longer than like 8 days.
Okay.
So
So
it'll
you have done some longer backpacking stuff then.
Yeah, I've done like some backpacking, and a good amount of like dirt bagging it out of my car, but I've never done that long just on foot backpacking before.
are you going solo or do you have someone you're gonna go with?
I'll be solo for the most part. My
Makes sense.
sister, yeah, my sister's also hiking it, just on a little bit of a different timeline. And then yeah, I'll have some friends that are planning to like pop in throughout the Sierra, and then once I get closer to home in Washington and whatnot.
Right on.
Yeah.
When will you be starting? Like May or
Yeah, May
later?
14th.
Okay,
It's like, yeah,
Oh,
I'll finish up the semester with school and then pretty much go straight onto the trail.
sweet.
are you going to be
Yeah.
mailing out care packages for yourself along the way?
Yeah, my parents are gonna have a little distribution center set up at their place for me and my sister. So, yeah, they'll be helping out with supplies and whatnot.
Dang, that's a lot of logistics.
It is. Yeah, fortunately, my sister's great with logistics, so I can just piggyback off of her.
Whose idea was it first, your sister's or yours?
I'm gonna take the responsibility. She probably wanted to do it first, but I remember telling her last summer when the like permit lottery dates were. So um, I think I planted the seed a little bit for doing it this summer.
So you'll be going northbound.
Yeah,
So you'll be basically hiking to your hometown. I mean, I imagine you'll go a little past it, right? But
yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'll pass right by. I grew up like 45 minutes from Mount Rainier, so
oh,
Sweet.
yeah, it'll be going right by home and like hitting some familiar territory.
that's what was my next question. So have you done much of the PCT? I mean, obviously, probably haven't done most of it, but are there
Yeah,
some sections you're familiar with?
I mean, honestly, not that much. Like a couple little spots closer to home, and then like some stretches through California, but that's about it.
Are you going ultralight?
Yeah, yeah, I'll have a
Nice.
pretty light setup. Yeah, I mean, I only have so long of summer break, so I'll have
Right.
to boogie.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're on a time crunch.
Ooh.
What's
yeah,
FKT?
what's the goal there time wise?
the well, I've got like a little over 3 months before school starts, so yeah, that's we'll see what I can do. but I'll
Yeah.
need to hit like 30 to 35 miles a day to
Yep.
finish it in time.
It's pretty aggressive. That's cool.
Yeah.
And have you ever used ultralight gear? Are you worried about how that's gonna affect your recovery, or are you pretty comfortable with that?
No, I feel like I'm fine with it. I've done enough sleeping in my car in like a pretty bad setup that it'll be fine. Like CIM, I didn't get like a hotel before that race or anything. Like I slept in the back of my car
Good
and
Lord.
yeah.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, CIM. Let's see. Slept in the back of a car, no
Yeah.
nutrition, just jumped into
Yeah.
the elite field. I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
did pretty much
You're crazy.
everything wrong that I could. So, yeah.
But had a great race, so
I had a
must
fun
something
time.
must be working.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear what your trail name is afterwards.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've never really had a nickname, so hopefully
Yeah.
someone figures something out.
Man, mine was terrible. I did the Arizona Trail back in 2019, and mine and don't even want to talk. It ended up being mine was day 4,
Day four.
because I didn't poop until the 4th day. I
Oh,
took the Grand Canyon. I could not get rid of it. I was like trying to get them to call me something else, and it just nothing stuck. And so it was just day 4 the whole time.
uh, it's a good story though.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I feel like you could pass it off as, something different.
Yeah, next through
Yeah.
hike, I'm just gonna pretend like I don't have one.
Yeah, don't tell anyone about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. We're excited to hear about your through hiking adventures and what you learn. I feel like it's a whole lifetime out there.
Yeah, yeah, I'm very excited. Just yeah, very different summer from anything else I've ever experienced. So
Are you planning on documenting any of it, or are you just gonna go enjoy the experience?
yeah, we'll see. Probably less so on the documentation side of things. Social media is not really my strong suit, so
I don't know. I went through it today, and I think there's some great posts on there, like the dinosaur edits. There's some good
He
stuff,
thought
man.
it was so funny.
there, yeah, no, there's some stuff on there for sure.
Is there
But
any way that the racing team can support you on this adventure?
we'll see. I don't know. Like I said, planning's not really my strong suit, so
I know we got
yeah.
some California racing team members. Maybe we'll have to
Oh
put a
yeah.
call out and some of them could jump on the trails with you for a bit.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping, if I can time it right, I'm hoping to be like right around Donner around Broken Arrow weekend. So
Oh,
um
that's
yeah,
cool.
it'd be pretty sweet to pass through and like see all my friends and whatnot at Broken Arrow and then
See if you could
just
snag some of
keep
that aid station food.
yeah, just pop in mid race and full backpack, just start loading up.
Are you using a tracker at all out there?
I'll have an inReach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
my parents are pretty paranoid, so
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad idea.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely gonna want to know where I'm at.
What's signal gonna look like on the trail? Do you know if you'll have a lot of cell service or
I have no idea. Yeah. I'm I'm planning on not much. So, we'll kind of be like in and out and just I would assume like more just along the highways and the intersections with civilization.
at least the PCT is like a pretty well traveled trail, but are you
Yeah.
worried at all about, I don't know, getting lonely or being just like walking for hours and hours every day, getting bored? What are your strategies for that?
Yeah, I mean the walking for hours and hours, that sounds like the nice part to me. Definitely like loneliness will be something to work with, but yeah, I've got a good friend in Reno who's like he's planning to hop in on the weekends through the Sierra, and I think that'll help a lot just having some company for a day or two, every week or two should
Yeah,
should
for
make a big
sure.
difference.
You might even end up with like a tramley out there, like a little trail family.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, I'm sure I'll meet a lot of people, but
You'll probably be going pretty
yeah,
fast though.
yeah, like go at a pretty aggressive pace, and I'm guessing there aren't too many other people who are gonna want to, yeah, trek along at that rate for too long.
Yep.
Well, I'm
Kind
sure
of.
there'll be a lot of fun stories to hear from other people and experiences. So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Hmm.
What kind of
Yeah,
shoes are you gonna wear?
probably just my normal running trainers. Yeah, just like been wearing a lot of peg trails and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just something simple. I think if I wore boots, I would hate myself after like 3 days. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
something
those are heavy.
comfy. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, super excited about that. Um, I think we're close to wrapping up, but we have a couple of rapid fire questions that we like to ask.
Okay.
So just like one word answers. What is your go-to pre-race breakfast?
Uh, Bagel.
And if you could go on a long run with any runner, who would it be and why?
Any runner. I mean, like dead or alive?
Either.
Either.
Either. Ooh. I feel like one of the guys from like the St. Louis Olympic Marathon. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that story. This isn't a one-word answer at all.
Go for
Just
it.
total tangent.
All right,
Yeah.
let's hear it.
But the like craziest Olympic marathon race of all time. I think like a third of the people who started it finished it. So the
Oh,
guy that won that race, I would love to hear what it was like.
was this in like the early 1900s?
Yeah,
Is it the one? Did somebody?
I think someone died.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dude, that's a crazy story. Like he
yeah,
actually rubbed himself with like oil
yeah,
for some reason. They had some reasoning behind it, but it didn't allow him to sweat.
yeah. The whole thing's crazy. Like someone got attacked by dogs, someone died. Like they're all like drinking alcohol to
Yeah.
survive.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So the dude who won that, I think it was like 1908.
Wow, great answer.
That's crazy. Yeah. Only 14 of the 32 competitors crossed the finish line. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, ultra running history there. You're running.
Yeah.
I think it was an ultra. I don't think it was close to a marathon either.
Well, even back then, it might have been just 25 miles because at some
Yeah.
point they switched it because it went from 25 miles to 26.2 for one of the ones in London, and they
Mm.
wanted the course to go past the palace, so they extended it by 1.2, and then going forward after that, it went from 25 to
This one
26.2.
was 24 miles. So,
24
Okay.
sub
yeah.
ultra.
And the winner's time
So,
was 3:28, which was the slowest of all Olympic marathons.
yeah.
Wow,
Yeah. So
Crazy.
I'd love to hear about that.
great tangent, Adam.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
All right, last question is what's one piece of advice that you would give to a newer runner? And maybe even specifically a runner who's younger like you, who's just kind of getting into the sport.
Yeah. If you're gonna be stupid, you gotta be tough.
Mm.
Yeah, it's one of my dad's favorite sayings, and definitely rings true on some of my days out there on trail.
Sweet. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for hopping on this call with us. It was really awesome hearing about your journey and running, and really
Yeah.
look forward to hearing about the PCT.
Oh man,
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
we're gonna have to do a follow-up podcast after that. I'm sure we'll have some stories.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometime in the fall. So,
Cool. All
Right
right.
on.
Thanks,
all right.
Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Yep. Thanks, guys.